welcome or welcome back. My name is Sophie and I do videos about weight loss, infertility, and lifestyle vlogs. If you are interested in any of these topics, please subscribe. I post a new video every 4 days. In today's video, I want to talk about the reason I always gain weight. And I want to explore this topic because I think that it would help me figure out my patterns and why I have such a hard time maintaining my weight loss and why I've always yo-yoed in my life. And it's really a mental thing, and I really wanted to dive in, explore what has happened in my life for me to be like this. And maybe you guys could relate to this. So if you're interested, please keep watching. Before I head into the details, I want to say that this video is about my experience, my personal events in my life, how I grew up and what has happened to me. And I want to say that even though I will be talking generally about other people and things that have influenced my yo-yoing, my dieting throughout my life, I honestly take full responsibility for what has happened to me. I know that ultimately it's me, I've done this, and it's nobody else's issue, it's just my own. So I wanted to say that before I dive into all the details. First off, I want to talk about my journey. So what my diet, my weight has looked like throughout the years. I will say that as a child, I was a normal weight. I wasn't heavy or small in any way. I was really average. I started noticing a lot of weight gain or chubbiness when I was a preteen. So I would say 5th to 6th grade. I realized that I was more comfortable in like large t-shirts, and I had like a stomach, and I had bigger boobs than some of my friends. And that's when I really noticed that for the first time I wasn't an average size. I was a little heavier set than the girls around me. In 6th grade, I remember weighing myself for the first time. This might have not been the first time, but this is the first memory I have of weighing myself. And in 6th grade, I was about 130 pounds. I still had my childhood chubbiness, like I was still growing into myself. So I think that weighing myself at that point was probably really detrimental to my mental health as a child, as a preteen. But I remember being around that weight at that point. I kept gaining weight after 6th grade. So instead of losing my baby fat like all of my friends were, I was actually gaining more weight and more weight. And I started my period in 6th grade. So I think hormones probably had an effect on that, and just not really knowing how to get rid of that weight. And I think that's normal. I mean, as a 6th grader or as a child, I wasn't dieting at that point, but it did cause me to gain weight because I was just eating whatever my friends were eating, and I wasn't losing like they were losing. I don't know how much I weighed when I went into like 9th and 10th grade, like 12, 13, 14 years old. I don't remember what I weighed at that point, but I do know that in 10th grade, I started eating lunches from home, because before then I started going to Dairy Queen and Tim Hortons for lunch with my friends. That's what they were eating, that's what I was eating. And then in 10th grade, I was like, no, I'm just gonna bring a lunch from home and eat healthier. I would eat tuna pretty much every single day in 10th grade. And I lost a lot of weight just by making that change. And I was the lightest I'd ever been in 10th, 11th, like end of 10th grade, beginning of 11th grade. I was the lightest I'd ever been, in the sense that I was fully grown and I was only 130 pounds. So when I was in 6th grade and I was 130 pounds, I was shorter, and it really was me at my chubbiest. And then when I grew up and I got to 5'3", I'm still not like a tall person, but when I got 5'3", and in 10th grade, I lost weight and got to 130 pounds. So I assume I was a lot leaner at that point. So I assumed that I had gained a lot of weight before then. So in 9th grade and beginning of 10th grade, I was probably a lot more than 130 pounds. To this day, it is the smallest I've ever been in my adult body. So at my full height and everything. I was 130. I was really happy at that weight, and I wasn't focusing on my weight. Like, I think just going out and exploring and doing things with my friends, and I was walking a lot because we didn't drive at that point, and I was just very active, and honestly I would eat like one meal a day during the summer because we were just at the beach all day. So I was just light, but I wasn't focusing on that too much. Keeping in mind though that weight has always been on my mind since I was very young, and I'll get into that. I gained a little bit of weight, about 20 pounds in my senior year of high school right before prom. So I was about 20 pounds heavier at my prom, and I was with my boyfriend at the time, and the reason, well, one of the reasons I gained weight is because when I met my boyfriend, I would hang out with him and his friends a lot, and McDonald's was like basically a tradition every night. We would go to McDonald's every night. And so right in the spring of 2010, I gained around 20 pounds. I kept gaining a little bit during my first year of uni, and then in my second year of uni, I actually lost a lot of weight. And at that point, I was around 160 pounds. So you can just imagine how much I had gained in my first year of university. In second year of uni, I started doing pole exercising, and I was doing a lot of yoga, and I lost a lot of weight to 160 pounds. So I was still 30 pounds heavier than when I was in high school, but I was really an adult at this point, and I was okay with that, and I felt really great, and I was active, and I was working out a lot, like 5-6 times a week. So I was fine with that. And then by 2015, I had regained some weight. I don't know what I was at that point, but my husband proposed that year. And as soon as my husband proposed, I finally had something to lose weight for, which I think is a very toxic way of thinking about weight. But when my husband proposed, I was like, okay, I need to lose weight for my wedding. And we got married in 2017. So 2015, 16, 17, I was around 160. So I was around the same weight as I was in second year of uni, and I hadn't been that weight in a really long time. And I maintained that weight right up until my wedding. So for a good 2.5 years, I was about 160 pounds, really healthy, working out, eating properly, like eating healthy things. Definitely a little hard on myself, but overall I was a happy person at that point in my life. And I found it hard at some times to keep up with the weight, but overall it was like fine. And then after my wedding, which was 3 years ago, I started gaining again. We went on our honeymoon about a month after the wedding, and from then on, I just kept gaining and gaining and gaining. And in October of this year, I hit a weight that I have never hit in my life. Really scary, actually, to realize like where I had put myself in terms of my weight. I'll just say that I had gained over 100 pounds. And so it was like a moment of realization. I need to get a handle on my health, not my weight, just my health. I need to be healthier. I was eating takeout every day, you know? So that's a little bit of my journey, and that's where I'm at right now. At this point, I've lost about 20 pounds since October, which it's been about 2 months. So I'm losing an average about 10 pounds a month, but I'm not weighing myself a lot. So I honestly have no idea where I'm at right now. I don't focus on the scale. I don't restrict what I'm eating. I eat what I want. I just make healthier choices because I've been trying to follow intuitive eating, which is all about listening to your body. So that's where I'm at right now. That's my journey. I now want to get into the reasons I feel like I've yo-yoed my entire life. And it stems back to my childhood, to be honest. I know that it's been a pattern in my family, and that is the first reason. All the females in my life and all the females I've looked up to my entire life since I was a child have had patterns of diets. My mom, my aunt, and my grandma on my mom's side. So it's definitely on my mom's side. It's definitely been an issue. My grandma was always really conscious of how much she weighed and what she looked like. My grandma always dieted, and I remember going to her house and she would feed her husband like a full meal, meat, potatoes, whatever, desserts. And she would sit there next to him and ate iceberg salad, like literally iceberg lettuce, and I don't even know what else was in it. And I'm pretty sure there was no dressing. Maybe chicken, I don't even know. But I remember it was iceberg lettuce, like not even tasty lettuce, like really bland lettuce. And I remember seeing her do this when I was really, really young. Definitely a pattern of diets. My mom's always talked about different diets. She's always on a different diet. My role models as a child loved dieting. And I mean, not love dieting, but always dieted. And I think that definitely plays a part in how I see weight, because I see it as a bad thing. As soon as you gain weight, you have to go on a diet. So that's definitely reason number one. When I gain weight, I restrict to lose weight, or I used to. I'm trying not to do that right now, but it's a constant battle in my head. If I eat really badly and then I'm like, okay, I've gained weight, it's time to lose weight, my number one instinct is to restrict what I'm eating. So eat a lot less, eat no gluten, no cheese, like really restrict what I'm eating. And then after a couple of months of doing that, I've restricted so much that I binge. I eat everything and then I gain everything back and more. And then I start a diet again and then I binge again. I was on a really bad cycle of binging, restricting, and I think a lot of women probably deal with that. So that's reason number two. Because of the influences that I've had on my life, I've always felt a lot of pressure to look a certain way during events and vacations. So for example, I lost a lot of weight for my wedding because I knew that it was really important for me to look a certain way on my wedding. And every time I go on vacation, I'm like, okay, I need to lose weight before I go on vacation. And that's society. It's partly society, partly the women that are in my life, but it's always this pressure of looking a specific way when you're about to do something or go to an event where there will be pictures. So vacations, weddings, even funerals, any like event like Christmas or your birthday, like any place where people are going to take pictures of you, you have to look a certain way. And that pressure is really toxic to my mental health and is the reason I probably restrict and then binge and restrict and binge. Another reason I think that in my adult years, because I've been with my husband for 11 years, in those 11 years, I think one of the reasons I go back to eating really poorly is because my husband's habits are really poor. So he doesn't like vegetables. He's a very picky eater. He loves takeout. And even though I love those things too, before I met him, I wasn't eating takeout every day. But because you know, if I'm like eating healthy and I'm like on a diet, I mean, I don't do that anymore, but in the past, if I would have been on a diet and I saw my husband next to me eating chips and dessert and junk food, I just wanted to eat it too. And so I would forget about healthy eating and just like binge and eat whatever I wanted, because my husband can eat whatever he wants and he is still a normal weight. I'm not saying he's healthy, but he's a normal weight. And so I think my husband's influence really hasn't helped my weight situation because I have no self-control. So it's my own fault. It's just that to have that constant reminder that someone next to you can eat whatever they want and you can't, and it's just like very, very toxic still. We're both working on our health now, so it's going a lot better. Another reason I feel like my weight has yo-yoed is because I truly, in the past, have not accepted my body at different weights. If I'm 215 pounds, I don't accept my body at that weight. If I'm 160 or 170, I do accept my body at that weight. So I've just never had a healthy relationship with my body, and I've never loved my body just like that. Like, I've only loved my body when it looks a specific way, and I think that's really unfortunate, and it's something I'm working on, to love my body at no matter what size and whatever it looks like, because my body's gone through a lot. I need to learn to love my body no matter what. The last reason I feel like I've yo-yoed my entire life, and I've really gone into diets and unhealthy eating and then healthy eating and restricting and binging, is because I've had little moments in my life that have really shaped the way that I think about myself. And I thought I would share a couple of those moments with you. One of the moments I will never forget is I was at junior prom. I think that's 8th grade or maybe 7th grade. Now that I think about it, I don't even think it was junior prom. It was a dance at school. I think it was 7th grade. and I hadn't worn a tank top in a really long time, but I put a tank top on that day and all my friends were like, oh my gosh, you look so great. Apparently I had lost a little bit of weight, I think. I looked so great and my friends were really happy for me, and I had this crush on this boy and I really wanted to dance with this boy by the end of the night. And my friend was like, okay, I'm gonna go ask him. And even though I was looking my best and I had lost a little bit of weight apparently, and my friends thought I looked great, he refused to dance with me that night. I'll always remember that moment being like, I'm not good enough for this boy, and I know that I was a child, and I know that boys were stupid. They still sometimes are, but as a child, pretty much assuming that he didn't want to dance with me because of my weight or because of the way I looked is kind of damaging to the way that you think about yourself. So that was one moment that really hit me. Another moment that I had was when I was in high school, and this one I'll never forget. And it was the first time I'd ever experienced like bullying. I just felt absolutely wrecked after this happened and just so damaged. Like, it really affected me. And even his friends, like, this happened with a boy, even his friends, I remember them not believing what had just happened. Like, they were just like, oh my gosh, how can someone be so mean, basically. So I was in geography class. There was this boy who I just didn't get along with. We always bickered. We never got along. He wasn't the nicest person. He would always like make fun of people, and I really liked people who were nice. I was that person who just got along with people that were like extremely nice and good people, and he just wasn't that. And he didn't like me for no reason. Honestly, I was a nice person, but he always would find a way to make me mad. And we had a lot of classes together. I think it was like 11th grade maybe, or maybe 10th, I don't know. It was in high school, and we had a lot of classes together. And so I saw him every day, all day, and I just couldn't handle him. And we're in geography class one day, and he looked at me, and we were talking about playing soccer. I used to play soccer, and he said, I'm sure you're a goalie. And I was like, why do you think I'm a goalie? And he's like, because you're as big as the net. It angers me so much. And then I was like, that's really mean. He's like, well, you look like a cow. And we were like 13 or probably 14 at that point, maybe even 15. And for a boy to say that to someone, there has to be something going on behind the scenes. I'm sure his home life wasn't great because it was so mean. I remember thinking at that point I was super hurt, but I also remember thinking like, I'm not even that big. And I wasn't that big. I was like a normal average size, and his friends all looked at him like, did you really just say that? Like, to have teenage boys stick up for you and not the person who insulted you, and they're his friends, made me realize that like there's probably something wrong at home, or there was something going on with him or whatever. And it never left me. Like, it always stuck with me. And those little comments or those little moments, like those two that I just shared, they've happened here and there, and they've really shaped the way that I see myself, unfortunately. I just want to share that with you guys because you might be able to relate to that. I'm at the point now that I'm moving on from all those things. I don't want to binge. I don't want to restrict. I don't want to be on a diet. I want to eat intuitively. Want to be happy at any size, and I think I'm accomplishing that. I'm still obese right now, and I'm okay with that. You know, that's where I'm at in my journey, and I'm fine with that. I have realized that my size does not define my value or my worth, and it's just a part of me. It's not me. And I'm also in a place where I'm not letting others define my decisions. So if my husband's eating chips, I'm not gonna eat chips, and if I do eat chips, I'm not gonna blame it on him anymore. And I think I'm just trying to be mentally healthier and really realize that the reason I'm physically unhealthy, or I was physically unhealthy, is because I was also mentally unhealthy. And I hope that this video can help you guys realize that you also have those types of patterns, and those are things that you've also dealt with maybe, and that you can move on from it like I am right now. And we're still working on myself. I'm not nearly close to the end line, but I'm getting there. and I hope that we can support each other. So if you have these patterns, or you know what has caused dieting and yo-yoing and being unhealthy, please let me know what those patterns were for you, what happened in your life to define the way that you think about weight and weight loss. I would love to answer your comments, and if you like this video, please give it a like. If you like the types of videos that I post on my channel, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.